The 4 stages of sexual sin. Sexual sin is not a new thing in the world today. It is also not a new thing in the church. The way sexual sins are being glorified in the world today, one would think it was a normal thing for everyone to do. It has worsened that if you don't commit these sins, people will look at you like you are weird. You may be thinking they should applaud you for being pure and holy. They will insult you instead and call you names. This is what society has turned into, and it has crept into the church. There is immorality in the Church of Christ today, and people are turning a blind eye to it because they don't want to be seen as too holy. We are accepting these practices in churches today, so much so that people now come to the church and commit these sins with the church members and even church leaders. So today we are going to look at what I would like to call the 4 stages of sexual sin. As we systematically go through these stages, we will be looking at the stages from the perspective of adultery and fornication. We will examine the 4 stages, each of these sins, side by side. What are the stages of sexual sin? Level 1. The eyes. I can confidently say that all fornication and adultery in one way or another begins with the eyes. You need to know that what you focus your eyes on can determine your next minute or the next day or months. Your next move can be dictated by your eyes. Many of us don't know the power of the eyes. We often talk about the tongue. We say the tongue is powerful. We say the mind and the heart are powerful, but we neglect the eyes. The eyes are the light of the body, and what you look at is what your body, your mind, and your brain will work on and work towards. If you spend your time looking at another man or woman lustfully, you will open up the door for the spirit of lust to come in. If you spend your time looking at indecent images of people on the internet, you will open up the door for the spirit of lust to come in. And once the spirit of lust has a stronghold in your life, it won't leave without a fight. Satan never lets go of any stronghold. He won't give up any ground he has gained. This is why so many people struggle with porn secretly for 5, 10, 20, even 30 years. Once Satan has a stronghold, he will not let go. Your eyes are very powerful. They are connected to the brain and the mind. This is what caused David to sin. David woke up from his bed and he went out to the roof of the palace. He saw Bathsheba bathing. The Bible did not just say he looked, but he saw. David looked and saw. He concentrated on the nakedness of Bathsheba. Even if David tried to run from that place, his eyes had seen Bathsheba naked. The brain already registered what he had seen. He concentrated on her. 2 Samuel 11:2, KJV. And it came to pass in an eveningtide that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. After David saw this woman, his mind followed, and it told him the woman is beautiful. If these two are already working hand in hand, the eyes and the mind, sin is already knocking at the door of one's lie. Fornication is already knocking at the door. Adultery is already knocking at the door. Masturbation is already knocking at the door. I want to ask you, what are you watching? What are you looking at? What are you focusing your eyes on? Are you opening the door of lust into your life? Jesus sounded this warning, and you need to listen carefully. Matthew 5:27-28, KJV. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart. Look, it is not until you have slept with them that you have committed adultery. Immediately after you have started lusting after them, you have committed adultery. The sin of David did not start when he called Bathsheba. It started when he looked at her and thought in him she was beautiful. The second stage is the act. After your eyes have seen, your mind registered it, and your brain stored it, the next is to act accordingly. David went after Bathsheba and slept with her. You see young ones who cannot run from sexual sins. They yield to it easily. They see fornication as a part of life. This is because of what they have been seeing. They now have the opportunity to act. They will never want to waste it. When that immorality has been kept in the heart for a long time, it will come out someday, and that is when they will act it. People are committing adultery, not because they just woke up someday and decided they wanted it. It is just something that had built up in them. Fornication is a common thing now, and people don't even care about the consequences. People don't care about anything that will happen to them anymore. They just don't care about the consequences of their actions. They just want to experience this sinful act. You are a child of God. If others are doing it, it doesn't mean you have to do it. You are not allowed to partake in this evil thing that people are calling pleasure. This is not pleasure. This is the path of destruction. David was punished for that act. You don't want to get punished for this. The punishment for adultery and fornication is heavy, and sexual immorality is heavy. The third stage is the invisible stage. This is the stage people don't see. This is the stage people don't know about. This is the spiritual implications stage. 1 Corinthians 6:16 KJV. What? Know ye not that ye which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh. If you commit adultery or commit fornication, the truth is that you have joined yourself with the person you slept with. The truth about sex is that it makes two people become one. When you sleep with different people, you have shared yourself with the different people you have slept with, and you now share a bond with each and every one of them. Whatever spiritually affects them now has a door into your life. You are now one with that person. You are making a declaration, a public announcement that me and this person are now one. All the spiritual problems this person is going through will be shared with you. Now, you are not carrying your problems alone, but you are carrying the problems of other people too. Look at the lives of people who are fornicating. You may think they are rich. You may think they are living a good life. The truth is that they are carrying other people's challenges. This is why one-night stands are so dangerous. You know nothing about the person or their family history. Most of the time, you don't even know their last name. The two shall become one. These people have joined themselves with many people, and now they are carrying the problems of other people. Have you been doing this before? Look, you will see that you are having some problems and you don't know how you got them. Things will become so bad for you and you will not know how it got to that. The truth is that you have taken another person's problems through becoming one flesh. You may not believe, but this is the truth because you are becoming one with whoever you sleep with. If you have made that mistake, you need to break the bond with prayer. You need to pray earnestly and break the bond between you and that which is bringing problems into your life. A young man emailed us to tell us of his experience. We asked him to send us an example. He is a young businessman who's doing well for himself. He was earning over 6 figures per year. He met a young lady who he described as absolutely beautiful. She was everything he wanted in a lady, and they started dating and they began sleeping with one another. They slept together within the first week of meeting each other. They hardly even knew each other. Literally the same week they slept together, his income was slashed in half. And he couldn't understand why. Nothing had changed. He was working just as hard as before. He even began working harder, but his income was just taking a nosedive, and everything he had been working for was going down the drain, to the point that he would have to close his company. Over time, they eventually broke up, and in the same week, his income went back to where it was, and even exceeded his previous income. Several months passed, and he reconciled with this lady, who he hardly knew, and they went back to their old ways, and the same thing happened again. That is when he was able to put 2 and 2 together, that things would start going wrong in his life whenever he committed fornication with this specific lady. To join yourself to others, there are spiritual implications. The fourth stage is the mess and the regret stage. There are lots of things that happen at this stage. There is shame at this stage. There is guilt at this stage. There is addiction at this stage, and there is a struggle at this stage. If we look into the story of David again, David went through a lot at this stage. He got the woman pregnant, had to look for a way to make sure he wasn't responsible for the pregnancy. He got her husband killed. He was punished for that. All these things caused disgrace to David, and he regretted it. This is the stage where you find people who are stuck in situations, stuck in relationships they don't want to be in. They want to leave the relationship, but they can't because they are joined to that person. After realizing that it's all sin, the struggle to change comes in. The devil, the flesh, does not want you to escape and go back to a holy life, so the fight to get freed moves from being physical to spiritual, and we need to know that we are not fighting in the physical anymore. Ephesians 6:12. At this stage, one needs the power of God to escape. To fight this battle and win, one must put on the whole armor of God. Ephesians 6:13 through 18. You cannot fight the sin of sexual immorality alone. You cannot come out of this sin alone. You need Jesus to help you out of this mess you have put yourself into, and that is why you must accept Jesus in your life. The world may have pressured you into joining them, but don't let them keep you in it. I encourage you today, before you even get to stage 2, 3, or 4, fight stage 1. Be diligent with what you are watching. Protect your eyes. Protect what you are looking at. Remove anything that tries to make you lust. If it is watching certain movies and TV shows, don't watch them anymore. If it is Instagram or Facebook, remove yourself. Better men, better women than you and I have fallen because of their eyes. Job 31:1. I made a covenant with mine eyes. Why then should I think upon a maid?